Okay, good to be here. Good to see some friendly faces out there. I'm the Communications Director with AAIRF. We protect people from the biological impacts of electromagnetic field radiation. So I'll just call that EMF radiation, or EMFs for short. Quick overview to start. We're an $18 million company, 105 million shares outstanding, major insider ownership, but the real story here is rapid growth and high valuation upside potential. So you can see there's 7 times revenue in the last 3 years. That's under the current management. Strong global sales with high margins that are only getting higher. That's enabled us to provide guidance for the first time this year. So our revenue goal there is about 60% higher than our current market cap, and that's with increased emphasis on moving toward EBITDA profitability. We've been really focused on growth. Know that profitability is part of the equation here, so focusing on that more. Extend that trajectory out, and we see in about 3 years that we'd be at about $100 million in sales. So lots of growth there. What's really driving all of this is there's a lot of people that are concerned about EMF radiation all around the world. We have proven products, we have a team that knows how to build a brand, and we have major partnerships that are helping us accelerate our growth and also increase our marketing efficiency. So looking a little deeper here, the problem that we're addressing is radiation from things like cell phones, Wi-Fi routers, 5G, and so on. The science has really shot ahead of the regulations, so the protection isn't there, and the science isn't in on this yet. So really, we're all like guinea pigs. We're kind of living the experiment here. We don't know the long-term effects of all of this. There's a growing body of science that's pointing to this EMF radiation is putting stress on the body. Stress on the body can lead to sickness. So people are pushing back, whether that's nations banning products, whether that's politicians saying something has to change, or even at the grassroots level, especially around schools and so on. Parents, organizations are saying we need to protect kids, especially. We need to do something about this. Now, no illusions here. There's a lot of disagreement about this whole thing of EMF radiation. Some people think there's nothing to it. Some people think there's something to it. Where we sit is that we don't see this as a bad thing. Where there's a lot of polarization, there's a lot of passion. We're able to tell our story better because this debate is ongoing. So we welcome it, and it actually helps us get our story out there. But for the people that are concerned, you can see from that diagram, there's over 40% either concerned or actively concerned about this. That's low-hanging fruit for us all around the world. You can see over on the right, those are just some of the personas that we target with our marketing. So on the one extreme, you have the peak performers. They just want to get 1% extra performance out of what they can do with their body. On the opposite extreme, you have people that are, we call them symptom sufferers. They have issues already. They're wanting to get healthy or just improve their health as much as they can. And all the way between those two extremes, there are people that are already healthy, but they don't want to become unhealthy. So that's a very diverse market for us that we can tap into in different ways with different marketing strategies. And the first way that we show up, the way that we've been showing up to date, is direct to consumer. This is us selling our products through our website, Shopify site, all over the world, over 93 countries, 400,000 plus units to date. You can see the 3 products there on the left. They're smaller in size, so they provide personal protection. An example here is one on my phone. You can see there, that's the LifeTune 1. As the products get larger, they're ones that you can clip on your backpack, on your purse. You can wear it around your neck like what the athletes do. And then you get to the larger products on the side there. They're look more like a credit card. You sit these on your desk, by your Wi-Fi router, by your television, and so on. As the product gets larger, it's the same technology in it, but the larger size means it increases the range of protection. The second way that we're showing up into the market, this is brand new for us. We just launched this in January this year. So this is AAIRF Certified Spaces Standard. This is a set of protocols that lets us work with large venues, businesses, and so on to create authorized EMF-friendly spaces. So this is a B2B inroads market for us. Because it's a big space, they need more products, so these are higher ticket installations rather than just the consumers buying products for their home and for themselves as they take around. We've already had a lot of uptake on this from some key partners, and we also have a lot of interest in this going forward. We expect this to be a major revenue driver for us. The measurable results we get in all of these cases, you can see in the top left there, those are just some EEG brain scans. We very much focus on having this grounded in science. So we get neuroscientists, they go and they do live demos, they hook people up with EEGs to measure their brain waves, heart rate variability monitors, a whole bunch of different type of tech. What we want to do is first measure a person, see what their baseline is, what's normal. Then we put a phone up to their head that's live, see how their body changes, all of their brain waves, their heart rate, and so on, things like that, because of the stress from the actual EMF radiation from the device. Then we put our device on the phone, measure again, and you see that the person goes back to baseline, or in some cases, they actually go better than baseline, so actually having a positive physiological effect. In the bottom, you can see what the customers tell us, which is mainly they're saying they get better sleep, more energy, less brain fog. Those are all great things. Those are subjective things. The measurement from the machines are the non-subjective things. Over on the right, you can see there, that's a case study of a demo that we did at the UFC Performance Institute. Blew away the experts there. You can check that out when you get a hold of our deck. All of this is based on over 30 years and over $20 million in R&D over the years. Lots of science backing it up. 22 global patents, 1 patent pending, and that's on the entire method of protection. At the very bottom, you can see a little diagram. This kind of will help you understand a bit of how it works. Each product has all of these little tiny etchings in a resonator chip. The etchings interact with the EMF waves. Some bounce onto the top, some go into the grooves. What it does is it ends up changing the structure of the actual electromagnetic field. We don't absorb the waves. We don't block the waves because that would stop the devices from working. So the devices work as well as ever. It's just that you end up with a more bio-friendly EM field around you. Here's our CEO. This is the guy who joined 3 years ago and has made a huge difference in the company. So you look at his experience building brands and leading growth with these major consumer brands. You combine that with this growth engine marketing model that he brought to AAIRF, and that's what's enabled us to have this predictable, scalable growth over these last 3 years. So we put $1 into our marketing engine. We aim to get $3 out as our baseline. What we're wanting to do is increase our marketing efficiency over time, so we're always tweaking and testing everything, wanting to get that up to where we put $1 in, and we get $5 out return on ad spend. And a big part of increasing our marketing efficiency is through partnerships. 2025 was a landmark year for us. We got almost all of these partnerships you see here in 2025. Leagues and organizations, athletes, influencers, and celebrities. In all of these cases, what they bring to the table for us is mass reach and new markets. First of all, look at the UFC and WWE alone. Just 700 million fans, UFC, billion plus households with WWE. That would take us years to get that amount of inroad, that amount of reach to all these different players. We get it much quicker, much more efficiently by having those brands in our corner. We also get the instant trust. We show up with these brands at our elbow, and it's like we have that validation immediately. But the most important is that co-branded content. We are able to get into conversations with these leagues, with these athletes. They test our products. We do the demos with them. We have videos, photos, testimonials, all these types of things. We take all that co-branded content, put it into our marketing engine, spin out endless campaigns, and all of that marketing and advertising is much more efficient because those brands are associated with us than if we had just shown up on our own. And as I said, we got most of these partnerships in 2025 throughout the year, or in 2024. 2025 will be our first year, full year, where we have these partnerships. So they were going to be able to maximize the opportunity from them that we weren't even able to do in 2024. This is the trajectory that we're on. You can see there where Josh joined. It was right at the end of 2021. Since then, we've had stellar growth. That's enabled us to put out that guidance that I mentioned. At this point, the way we're looking at it is it's feasible for us to exceed that 32 million revenue goal, and to, we're thinking EBITDA profitability will probably come in Q4, probably neutrality by Q3. That's what we're aiming for. Most of that is going to come down to the efficiency that we have. I mentioned the marketing efficiency, which we're already tapping into with the partnerships, but we also have marketing efficiencies that come from we're larger now. Larger scale gives us larger opportunities in terms of the marketing, but we also have efficiencies in the terms of the actual products themselves. So around the sourcing and the manufacturing, there's scale efficiencies that we're going to be able to tap into this year that we haven't been able to tap into before. Where this brings us to valuation, the peers, gross profit margins, we're either at the same or better. And so we see it as reasonable to say that we could have somewhere between a 2 to 6 times EV to sales valuation. And when you take in mind that $100 million midterm goal that I mentioned earlier, that could make us something around like a $200 to $600 million company. Plus, we haven't even tapped all of our different revenue opportunities here. So over on the left, these are what we've fully commercialized already. I mentioned the direct-to-consumer sales. We also have the international distributor option. So this is low cost, low effort for us. These people already know the languages. They already have the inroads with the customers. We just basically give them our products and they get it out the door to their people. We have one of these in place already for Hong Kong, Malaysia, and Singapore. So we see that as $600 million revenue potential that we're already tapping into. The middle tier there, that's what we launched already in Q1 that I mentioned. This is the B2B, the AAIRF certified spaces. So we're just starting to tap into that side of things. And over on the right, this is what we're just starting to explore as well. So this is co-branding opportunities where we could take our product, have a partner's brand on that, sell it that way, or they could be selling it as well. Plus also the OEM licensing. So a manufacturer, they have a tech product, they're taking our tech, putting it into their tech. Huge upside potential here. We see that as about a $2 billion revenue potential. Growth plan to make all of this work, to keep it going, to scale it up. Goal number one, continue that strong growth, but having more of a focus on profitability, as I mentioned. So scaling up and paying attention to those efficiencies, taking advantage of all the efficiencies we can to move toward that EBITDA profitability. Goal two, dominate the market. We already are dominating the market. There isn't really any competitor out there on the science side. There's a lot that they have products that aren't really based in anything that can be measurable. So we don't really see any major competition out there right now. So the goal here is just to continue to show up everywhere and build to that $100 million sales goal. That'll give us more opportunities on the co-branding side, partnership side, and the OEM licensing side. This is the team that's leading this whole thing. We already talked about Josh. Dimitri's on the product side, he's co-founder. He's the person who actually took the original tech, converted it so that it could be a consumer-based product. Vitaly is our CFO. He has over 15 years in capital markets, mostly with Canaccord. He also started and sold a business. And that's me there, Grant. I'm the communications director. I've been on the communications side with lots of companies for over 20 years. Capital structure, I mentioned the high insider ownership is about 28%. With the board, it's about 30%. So skin in the game, yes, but we also really believe in what we're doing, excited about it, excited that it actually helps people and makes the world a better place. At the end of the day, as corny as that might sound, it's important. It's an important thing. And lots of market cap upside. So kind of bringing it all together, you have that high valuation, we're continuing to grow, focusing on profitability, aiming for that $100 million target. And like I said, that could, between that valuation, that could get us to like $200 to $600 million company. So I'll open it up for questions. Yes. Where are the products manufactured? So the sourcing of the different materials comes from different places in Europe. They're actually all manufactured in Lithuania. From there, we have different distribution centers. So we have one in Poland, we have one in the UK, Australia, Canada, the United States. And what we do is, because we have that global store, the online store, we're able to see where sales are as they're changing and so on. We can quite quickly spin up one of these distribution centers. Just again, that's another efficiency that reduces on costs on shipping and so on. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the question is, what's a good starting point to do a deep dive on what's going on with EMF radiation? My suggestion would be, obviously this is biased, but if you go to airestech.com, which is our website, which is the consumer-facing website, there's a blog on there. And if you click on the blog, you're going to see right up at somewhere near the top something like EMF 101, or what it's all about. Obviously, that's the content that we've put out. But when you get into those blog articles, you'll see that there's tons of links that go out to all these different sources. And from there, you're going to be able to connect with all these different resources out there. Like I said, there's lots of controversy about this. We don't shy away from that. We don't think that that's a problem. Yes? What was that? Oh, repeat customer. Yeah. About 25 to 30% of the customers come back and buy again. They usually buy 2 to 3 times the amount that they bought in the first place. Our understanding of it is, like most people, they're skeptical. They check it out, they get a result that they like, and then they buy, for their kids or presents or whatever and so on. And not everybody feels any different when they get the product. For some of them, it's just peace of mind. Other people, they have an incredible effect on them, especially if they have there's something called electromagnetic hypersensitivity. This is someone who, if you just turned on your phone, they'd be like, oh, they feel something, they get a headache or so on. This isn't most people's experience. But, we do have one guy who's the Hollywood screenwriter. His life was basically ruined. He got Lyme disease, had a whole bunch of other stuff, electromagnetic sensitivity, and he kind of fixed everything in his life except the phone thing. And through the Aries product, he was able to use his phone again. So, yeah. How much did we spend on sponsorship? I don't know for that number exactly, but I know that, let me see if I get this right. Marketing was, I think, 3.5 million, and advertising was 2.4. I can check that on my phone after the. Oh, sorry, I didn't repeat the question. The question was, how much did we spend on advertising and marketing, or on partnerships? With the partnerships, like with UFC, WWE, those are multi-year deals, and so we have different payments at different times. So some of it we had to pay up front, so that we took a hit on that in 2024 because we had the upfront payment for the partnerships, and then we can't really spin up the benefits from them right away because it takes time to go and meet them, to get interviews and that sort of thing, and set up campaigns. And so there's a bit of a lag time between starting the partnership and when we actually start getting some benefit from it. Yeah. Aries certified spaces, yeah. Actually, the first really official one was with the Target Center, Minnesota Timberwolves, the NBA team. So we have an installation there. We have some videos on our YouTube channel about that. And yeah, it's great. I mean, we have plaques on the wall saying it with QR codes. People can go on that. It sends them to our website. They can learn more about it. You can see the products all over in the arena. We've done that with the UFC Performance Institute as well, and some other ones. I think I'm out of time, unless there's any other questions. 1 minute left. I have a question for you. How's everybody enjoying the conference so far? Oh, wow, one woo. Well, good. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. If you have any questions, I'm at booth 216, I believe it is. Have a good day.